There it is. Another body, dropped right in the middle of your week. It might be that abandoned project you never finished. That promise to yourself to start running, dead on arrival by Tuesday. Or that important conversation you've put off for the 100th time. And the first, most familiar thought that hits you like a sledgehammer is, it's my fault. I screwed up again. I'm just lazy, undisciplined, a total failure. Sound familiar? Stop. Just stop. This time, let's do something different. Instead of calling in the inner prosecutor and listening to that same old guilty verdict, let's call in a forensic investigator. Mentally wrap this whole scene in yellow caution tape. Snap on the gloves. Because from this moment on, you're not the suspect. You are the lead detective on the most complex case of your life. Your job isn't to sentence yourself, it's to uncover the facts and collect the evidence, completely impartially. What actually happened here? This is our core method. We're turning that toxic self-blame into a detective story. Because our main hypothesis we need to test is this wasn't a premeditated murder of your dream. This was the work of an overzealous bodyguard. Something inside of you was trying to protect you, but it chose a crude, almost brutal method to do it. Our goal isn't to catch the culprit, but to understand their motive. So, the crime scene is laid out before us. The clues are everywhere. And before we start building theories, we have to do what every good detective does, build a case file. And to do that, we need to interview the primary victim. Yourself. Ready to talk? Alright, take a seat. Coffee? Water? Let's talk. But let's agree on something first. Right now, we're turning off the emotions and we're turning on the recorder. We need the facts, just the facts. The victim here is that part of you that genuinely wanted to see this through, the part that set the goal and actually believed in it. And now its hopes are lying on the floor like shattered glass. My job, as the lead detective, is to ask the right questions. Your job is to answer them like a witness, not like the person on trial. First question, when exactly did the incident take place? And I don't mean, sometime this week, I need specifics. What day? What time of day? What were you doing in that exact moment? For example, it was Tuesday, 11 a.m. I opened the work file, stared at it for 10 seconds, felt this heavy weight in my chest, and then I went to make coffee. That right there? That's a clue. We're logging it into evidence. Question number 2, what was happening right before this? In the minute, or the hour, leading up to the sabotage. Did you have a conversation with someone? See someone else's success story pop up on Instagram? Or maybe you just had the thought, this is too hard, I'm gonna fail anyway. That moment is the key. That is the trigger. This is often when our internal saboteur gets the signal to move in. And the third, and most important question, let's pull the old case files. Your past failures. Does our unsub have an MO? A signature move? Maybe they always strike when you're halfway to the goal. Or, maybe it's the opposite, they hit right before the finish line, when you have to show your results to other people. Do they always use the same weapon, like a sudden, crushing wave of exhaustion or a flood of urgent but unimportant tasks? This pattern is our biggest break in the case. Just like the author Tara Brach writes in her work on acceptance, simply becoming aware of the pattern is half the battle to breaking free from it. See? We've just gathered the initial testimony. And this isn't just a jumble of painful feelings anymore, this is a case file. We have a time, a location, a potential trigger, and most importantly, a recurring MO. And when a detective has an MO, they can start to build a profile of the suspect. And I think we're starting to get a pretty clear picture of who we're looking for. So, we have the case file. A recurring MO, a time and a place, and based on this evidence, any good detective can put together a composite sketch. But when we do, you're not going to see a monster. Take a closer look. Yeah, he looks rough. He acts clumsy. But look into his eyes. That's not malice. That's fear. This isn't the sketch of a criminal. This is a portrait of your inner protector. This isn't you. This is just one part of you, a part as ancient as the survival instinct itself. Picture an old soldier sitting in the watchtower of your brain. His one and only mission, learned millions of years ago, is to protect you from pain. Any pain. Physical, emotional, it makes no difference to him. The therapist Richard Schwartz, who founded the internal family systems model, calls these parts protectors for a reason. They genuinely believe they are saving us. The problem is, their software hasn't been updated in a very, very long time. Your protector sees your new, ambitious goal, whether it's a promotion, a big move, or just finally hitting the gym, and its internal alarm system starts blaring, danger. Potential pain ahead. It doesn't care if that pain comes from possible failure or even the stress that comes with success. It just slams the big red stop button, triggering exhaustion, procrastination, or a sudden flood of urgent but unimportant things to do. It's doing everything it can to keep you from going where it thinks you'll get hurt. And if you think that sounds a little dumb, well, you're right. It's not smart. It's instinctive. So, we've identified our subject. We're not dealing with a villain, we're dealing with a paranoid bodyguard. And now that we know who is doing this, we get to the single most important question of any investigation, the question that changes everything: why? What is its motive? What specific pain is it so desperately trying to save you from? Every crime has a motive. Money, revenge, power, but what the hell could be the motive for a crime against yourself? On the surface, it sounds insane. Why would anyone in their right mind shoot themselves in the foot? Well, this is where the real investigation begins. Because our protector's motive isn't to make you suffer. Its motive is to stop you from suffering. See the difference? Let's crack open its case files. Motive number 1, the most obvious one: protection from the pain of failure. Its logic is as simple as a street fight: you can't get your ass kicked if you never even step in the ring. The pain of trying and failing is unbearable to this part of you. So it would rather break your leg in the locker room, by hitting you with a sudden wave of apathy, than let you get in that ring where there's even the slightest chance of defeat. Motive number 2, and this one's a lot more subtle: protection from the pain of success. Yeah, you heard me right. Success is a spotlight, and a spotlight makes you a target. Now people are watching. They have expectations. There's pressure, responsibility, and the potential for envy from others. To that ancient survival mechanism, all of this is just pure stress. It's thinking, hey, let's just fly under the radar. Let's stay here in the shadows where it's safe. And the third motive, which might be the most powerful one of all: protection from the pain of judgment. Vulnerability researcher Brené Brown has spent her career proving that one of the deepest human fears is the fear of being truly seen and then rejected. And what is setting a new goal if not a declaration of, hey, look at me. I'm trying. To your protector, that's the equivalent of walking into a crowded room completely naked. It will do anything to prevent that from happening. So there it is. The master motive behind the laziness, the procrastination, and the self-sabotage is simply fear. And now that we know why this is happening, it's time to get to the really interesting part. How, exactly, does it do it? What weapons does it use to stop you? It's time to raid its armory and examine the tools of the crime. So, the motive is clear: fear. But as any good detective knows, a motive isn't enough. Every criminal has their signature toolkit, their MO. So let's raid your protector's armory and examine its weapons of choice. And I guarantee you'll recognize these, because it uses them against you every single day. First up is its favorite, the most elegant weapon in the collection: perfectionism. It looks so noble, doesn't it? I just want to do it perfectly. But that's a lie, it's a cover story. Perfectionism isn't a tool for polishing the final product. It's a sniper rifle aimed directly at your motivation before you even start. Your protector raises the bar to an impossibly high standard, so you look up at it and think, I can never make that jump. And so, you don't even try. Mission accomplished. No action means no risk of failure, which means no pain. The perfect crime. And then there's the heavy artillery, procrastination. This is a slow-acting poison. Unlike perfectionism, which kills an idea on the spot, procrastination poisons it gradually. It whispers those sweet, tempting words, you're tired. Start tomorrow. There's still plenty of time. As James Clear writes in Atomic Habits, our brains are hardwired for immediate rewards. And what's a sweeter reward than the instant relief from anxiety that comes from putting something off? Your protector is just buying you a dose of peace in the now, and making you pay for it with your tomorrow. Of course, the arsenal has other tools, too, smoke screens in the form of sudden, urgent tasks, a mental fog that makes it hard to think clearly, and that endless, nagging whisper of, what if? Looking at all these poisons, traps, and deceptions, one huge question pops up, where did it get them? Because you're not born with an arsenal like this. You acquire it. Or, someone hands it to you. It looks like it's time to pull the archives and find that very first case file. That one cold case from your past that kicked this whole thing off. Any seasoned detective will tell you, the most tangled cases aren't new. They're just echoes of cold cases from the past. And our case is no exception. That arsenal we found, the perfectionism, the procrastination, it didn't just appear out of thin air. It was handed to your protector in a very specific moment in your past. It's time to go down into the dusty archives of your memory, find that file marked, top secret, and pull that one cold case file that started it all. This is the case that was probably written off years ago, but it's the one that set the precedent. It's the origin story. The event that taught your protector that certain actions lead to unbearable pain. What could it be? That school presentation where everyone laughed. The drawing an adult carelessly called just a scribble. That clumsy attempt to help that was met with irritation and criticism, like, just don't touch it. You're making it worse. The moment that you, as a kid or a teenager, felt that sharp, searing pain of shame, humiliation, or rejection, your protector ripped a page out of its notebook and wrote a new rule in thick, black marker. A rule as simple as a direct order. Public speaking equals humiliation. Directive, avoid at all costs. Showing initiative equals punishment. Directive, keep your head down and stay quiet. As Dr. Kristin Neff, a leading researcher on self-compassion, explains, it's in these exact moments, when we lack compassion for ourselves, that our most rigid internal rules are formed. They're scars that have turned into instructions. Your protector is still operating on these outdated protocols, not realizing you're not that helpless kid anymore. But you know what's the most interesting thing about these old cases? The protector, no matter how strong it seems, rarely works alone. It's the enforcer, the muscle. Which means, somewhere nearby, there have to be accomplices. The ones who whisper the orders and cheer it on when it starts to hesitate. So the question is, who are they? In any good detective novel or gangster movie, you learn pretty quickly, there are no lone wolves. Behind every major player, there's a whole organization. There's the boss, the consigliere, and the guys who act as lookouts. Our protector is no different. It's the muscle of this operation, but it's not the brains. It's time to identify its accomplices. The head of this whole crew, the mastermind, the real boss in the shadows, is your inner critic. It doesn't get its hands dirty. It sits in that dark office in the back of your mind, flipping through files of all your past mistakes and just passes judgment. That's its voice whispering in your protector's ear, hey, you remember what happened last time, right? Don't let them humiliate themselves again. The critic is the one who took that one childhood mistake from the archives and turned it into a universal law. It doesn't protect. It prosecutes. And the protector is just the muscle carrying out the sentence. But the critic has a sidekick, a lookout on the street corner, your imposter syndrome. Its job is to constantly scan the room and report back, look, everyone here is smarter, more talented, more successful. You're a fraud. They're about to find you out. It's the one that supplies the critic with fresh evidence of your incompetence, fueling its case against you. And finally, you've got the network of informants, your fear of other people's opinions. These are the guys listening in on imaginary conversations, spying on made-up reactions, and bringing back panicked intel. They're definitely going to laugh. They're going to think you're an arrogant show-off. They create all the external noise that confirms the critic's narrative. So you see the vicious cycle: the informants scream about the outside threat, the imposter syndrome confirms you're not good enough to handle it, the critic passes the guilty verdict, and the protector slams on the emergency brake. We've just exposed the entire network. The whole crew. And trying to take them down by force is like declaring war on yourself. It's pointless. A smart detective does something different. They bring them in for questioning. Not to accuse them, but to talk to them, and to break up their alliance. But how do you cross-examine the parts of you that already know all your secrets? How do you talk to your own saboteur in a way that finally gets it to tell you the truth? Of course. Here is the adapted version for an American YouTube audience, written in a continuous, conversational flow perfect for a script. Okay, so we've exposed the entire internal crew. And this, right here, is the most delicate part of the investigation. We need to bring them in for questioning. But this isn't one of those old-school interrogations where we shine a bright light in their face and yell. That kind of pressure will just make them lock the doors and barricade themselves even deeper inside. We need a cross-examination that feels more like a heart-to-heart conversation. Our goal isn't to break them, it's to understand them. That's the only way to dissolve their alliance. The very first thing you need to do is separate the protector from its accomplices. Mentally, invite it into a negotiation room, just you and it. You're going to tell the critic, the imposter syndrome, and the rest of the crew, hey, I appreciate your input, but right now, I'm not talking to you. This step is crucial. You're not trying to silence them, you're just asking them to wait outside. It shows respect, not aggression. Now, once you're alone with the protector, you're going to ask it a question, but not from a place of accusation. You're going to ask from a place of genuine curiosity. Instead of, why are you doing this to me, you're going to ask, I see that you're working really, really hard to protect me. I want to understand from what, exactly. What is the absolute worst thing you're afraid will happen if I go through with this? And then, be quiet. Just listen for the answer. It might not come in words. It might be a feeling, a tightness in your chest. A lump in your throat. A flash of an old memory. That is the answer. When you get that answer, do not argue with it. Do not say, that's ridiculous. You thank it. You say, thank you for showing me that. I see how scared you are that I'll feel that same pain again. This simple act of validating its fear is everything. It's like putting a cool cloth on a hot forehead. For the first time in years, it's not being yelled at, it's being heard. As I've mentioned, this idea of dialoguing with our parts is the core of Richard Schwartz's internal family systems therapy. After you've listened and shown your appreciation, you can move to the next phase. You can offer it a deal. Because you can't just fire this incredibly powerful and loyal mechanism. But you can, give it a promotion. You can offer it a new, more constructive job. And striking that plea bargain is the key to closing this entire case for good. You can't just fire your protector. That would be like trying to rip out your own survival instinct. It's impossible, and it's stupid. It's part of your operating system. But you can offer it a deal. A deal that will change the rules of the game forever. Look. Up until now, its job has been simple and crude, bodyguard. Its mission was to stop you at all costs if it sensed danger. Even if that meant tackling you to the ground and breaking your leg, which is just its code for hitting you with apathy and procrastination. But now that you've heard it out and you understand it, you can offer it a promotion. Tell it this: your energy and your loyalty to me are invaluable. But I don't need you to be my bodyguard anymore. I need you to be my head of security. Your new mission isn't to stop me, it's to help me prepare. Instead of screaming, "Stop," I need you to scan the path ahead and give me intel. Tell me, "Attention, there's a difficult section about a mile ahead. I recommend you pack extra water and plan to take a break." This is exactly what Dr. Kristin Neff calls active self-compassion. You're not ignoring the fear, you're using it as a resource. You're turning a panicked scream into a constructive intelligence report. You are giving this ancient mechanism a new, more dignified job. Instead of burning all its energy on anxiety, it starts channeling that energy into finding solutions. And in that moment, the war inside you ends, and the collaboration begins. By the way, if you've ever successfully made a deal with your own protector, drop a comment below and share how you did it. Your experience could be the breakthrough someone else needs to read. The deal is signed. The ink is dry. The internal gang has been disbanded, and its former leader has just come over to your side. So what now? Now, detective, it's time to sit down at your desk, write up the final report, and officially close this case. For good. Of course. Here is the final piece adapted for an American YouTube audience, written in a single, flowing conversational block. Case closed. Say those 2 words to yourself. Feel the weight of that. The final signature on the report, the snap of the file folder shutting. This investigation, one that's been running for maybe your entire life, has just come to an end. You went the distance. From the cordoned-off crime scene where your latest goal lay dead, all the way to the dusty archives of your past. You put together the composite sketch, you found the motive, and you exposed the entire internal crew, led by the inner critic. And you didn't declare war on them. You did something so much smarter, so much more powerful. You started talking. And you were heard. This deal you just made isn't some temporary truce. It's a complete reorganization of your internal security detail. And now that your former bodyguard has been promoted to your lead analyst, everything changes. Now, when you look at a new, big goal, instead of that panicked scream of "Stop, danger," you hear a calm, professional voice in your head saying, "Okay, we have an ambitious target." Potential risks include burnout, criticism, and possible disappointment. The action plan is as follows: we break this down into small, manageable steps. We schedule rest directly into the timeline. And we prepare our talking points in case we face any outside skepticism. This internal sabotage was never a sign that you were weak or lazy. It was the sign of a massive, but blind and misdirected, power that was desperately trying to keep you safe. You weren't broken. You were just overprotected. And now, by cracking this case, you haven't just gotten rid of a problem. You've gained access to that incredibly powerful resource. You have turned your own jailer into your greatest ally. Now you have the playbook to run this investigation again and again, anytime a new crime scene appears. You are no longer the victim. You are the lead detective. And you just brilliantly cracked the most important case of your life.